Hello and welcome to Let Innovation Speak, a special program of World Insight on Summer Davos 2019. I'm Tian Wei. Geopolitics, many believe, is the elephant in the room at this year's Summer Davos. Whether innovation can still be shared and whether a new economic momentum be pursued, both have a lot to do with how that issue is being dealt with by the international community. On that, the business community does have a lot to say. On the sidelines of the Summer Davos 2019, I talked to Frank Ning, the chairman of Sinochem Group, a straight talker certainly, who minced no words. Let's listen in. First question for you. Latest development, China-U.S. Trade negotiations at the G20 summit. The two sides agreed to restart the negotiation again. So what do you make of the potential timetable, long-term or short-term?
I think this gives the market a strong signal. Dispute will continue, but there will not be a major war. Both side leaders understand where is the limit. So I think it's a good gesture. I think this type of negotiation will continue for a long time, maybe. You reach agreement on this side, you want to change other conditions, I think it will continue. But again, a complete major trading war has been avoided. We perceive this message like this.
You seem to have a lot of optimism.
The trading war started for many reasons. Today, I think when the initial kind of dispute started, the initial tariff started, people feel it's not really the material impact of the trade. It's very much the confidence, the trust, the investment, the sentiment, everything changed. Yes. Okay, and the trade war, the trade tariff only started for a few months. But I think people try to avoid that. But they still try to find a solution on that. I think it's good. I think they know where the limit is. It's not going to be a long fighting on trade or technology or other things. It's getting worse and worse. I think nobody will survive or benefit from that.
But what about the disruption to the global supply chain, as we already observed some signs of it?
Oh, business is not only passive. Business is also adopting.
But is it fair for businesses?
Business has been globalized. Business has been value chain integrated, but the government are still separated. Government has their own agenda politically. Sometimes they take care of business, sometimes they don't. Some they use business. So for whatever reason, for election, for other reasons. So business will have to find a way themselves. I think usually business will find a way much better than people expected. How many people are moving back to the U.S.? Zero. So some people say that they're going to move to Vietnam. But President Trump said that he's not happy with the people moving to Vietnam. But I mean, the relocation of their supply chain has not started yet. I mean, the worst thing was started, people relocate their production base, their technology base. So if that is the case, if that really happened, the world will become two parts. I don't think people are still paying enough to do that.
But Mr. Ning, what about subsidies? That's one of the big issues in the U.S.-China trade discussion, as far as we understand. And China's SOEs, according to the U.S. side at least, has been receiving industrial subsidies. Well, of course, you could say the U.S. has been providing agricultural subsidies to its agricultural industry.
I think there's no particular subsidy for SOE.
What do you mean by no particular subsidy?
Okay, when I was with COPCO many years ago, COPCO received some subsidy. On what? On corn ethanol fuel. You know, the ethanol fuel, use corn to produce ethanol, add into gasoline, there's subsidy. There's subsidy not for SOE, it's for the whole sector. Anybody who produces ethylene, you're given subsidy.
That policy was out mainly for environmental purposes.
Exactly. It's environmental, it's protection of the farmers' product price, it's renewable energy, many reasons.
So that shouldn't be an issue in the U.S.-China discussion when it comes to trade.
You can study that. You can investigate that.
What about WTO reforms? As we understand, the reform is still ongoing in terms of discussion.
I think we so welcome WTO reform if people follow or people recognize WTO rules. Today, they do not want to recognize WTO rules at all. Do not reform. Doesn't matter reform or non-reform. I think China will eventually be a totally open country, 100% open, zero tariff.
When is that going to be, from an entrepreneur's perspective?
This is sooner or later.
What does that mean?
It's
Sooner or later,
there's
a big difference between the two.
You know, the world is flat, and there's more competition. Okay, I mean, so you got more companies compete, and you get more imported goods, but you can export more too. But which means you put companies in a front way to compete, you know, face to face. I mean, it will happen anyway. You know, we thought this can happen later, for a few years later. Now it's going to happen today. It's okay. Are
you ready?
Yes, you have to.
Since the trade war started, how you and your colleagues have been preparing for this?
For new material, other things, for fiber, for anything, let's compete. Maybe the Chinese company will transform a little bit. Will be sort of will be facing more severe competition, but this is something you have to do.
You want to compete, but others want to decouple. You probably don't even have the opportunity to compete.
If anybody wants to decouple, that's their fault and that's their rules. You know, this is a market. This is the only growth place. And the emerging market today, you know, has been half of the GDP of the world. Asia has been half of the GDP of the world, and things have changed. You know, I mean, you can't use the sort of you know traditional mentality to think about the world economy. I mean, it's no growth. It's relatively, you know, it's stagnated for a while, politically, economically. But anyway, but people, business. I say, why business? Driven by growth, by new market. This is the nature of capital. Otherwise, why business?
Sinochem, the company you're running.
Yeah.
Certainly is an international company, even though it is headquartered in China.
Yeah.
If there were further turbulences in the trade, which it's very likely, as you said, it's going to be a long-term discussion.
Yeah.
What does that mean for your international approach, particularly into the developed markets?
The Chinese thought in the beginning, you know, I told you, I mean, they are welcome to invest.
And they were told that.
They invite us to go, you know, and they give us incentive to go. You know, it's, but okay, today if people change their mind, okay, we don't want you anymore, that's okay. You know, I mean, we don't have to acquire, we don't have to invest. You know, we can sell, we can trade, or we cannot trade, it's okay. So, why I'm so confident? Because I think the domestic consumption is picking up.
Right.
And China is growing, Southeast Asia is growing, Russia and the Black Sea area is growing, Africa is growing. You know, there are a lot of places. You don't have to be there. You don't have to go there. I mean, so to go to places you're not welcome. You don't have to do that.
It's also about the innovation, isn't it? It's about technologies as well.
Oh, yeah.
On the one hand, people say, oh, China has very good, you know, marketplace in a way, consumer market technological innovation. However, when it comes to industrial technological innovation, there still might be challenges for China if it is not about collaboration in the future anymore.
China must cross or must fill that gap because the industrialization history in China is still very short. I don't think Chinese can cover that in many areas immediately. But the reason I'm confident because I think China has been China has passed this first phase of industrialization. I think China accumulated all this strength, resources, and manpower to do more research, more technology-oriented investment, to be more industrialized, and to be technology-wise leading. It will happen. It is happening today. I anticipate in the next 10 years, you will see China will be a much more technology-driven country.
That's likely to be a bit of a bigger threat to the United States. Then geopolitics could be even more complicated than what it is already.
We do not intend to threaten anybody. We just want to grow our economy.
So what is happening to the Chinese entrepreneurship? I mean, at once you were saying the other day that people have a lot of respect for real estate developers because that's where the industry has earned much of the money. Yeah. But now people have much more respect for people like Ren Zhengfei, for example, the founder of Huawei, who obviously has caught up in a crossfire of geopolitics between two countries. So what do you think about what is the entrepreneurship now? What is the so-called business spirit is about these days in China?
I think...
is it about the fighting spirit or is it something else?
I think the whole market economy, the commercial, let's say, civilization in China is still very short. So companies, entrepreneurs, people are still learning, adjusting themselves. So inevitably, they started with trade, with speculation, with short-term, with kind of quick money type of investment or business model. Today, I like it or not, or either it's because of Ren Zhengfei or otherwise, but the thing is people learn or people kind of believed they have to have a long-term strategy. They have to have a long-term planning, and they have to have a technology-driven or technology-focused business model to survive or to last for a long period. So it's a natural transformation of a company strategy, and it's going very strong. So Ren Zhengfei is very much, he got the first move type of example, and to show the world he succeeded commercially by building a great company, not by a short-term speculation.